Beep boop. Hello. Beep boop boop boop. I need to move there. I need to be in the middle. There we are. How's it going, everyone? Red alert Yuri's Revenge standing by. Okay. Ninja Mummy Ramses, hello. And Ignis Deus, welcome. Beep boop hype. A wild Graham appears. Graham is robot. Hello, I am robot. I mean, no, I am Graham. I am a soft human like everyone else. Hello, fellow squish beasts. I am Prophet's. Yeah, Sector, that was pretty crazy. That was at WrestleMania. The New Day entered basically dressed like Ginyu Force from Dragon Ball. Like they were dressed like Saiyans. They had like the outfit. Xavier Woods had his hair all done up. And the camera, I don't know how they knew this. I don't know if like Xavier Woods told the production truck that they were there or if the cameraman was just like on the ball. But during that entrance, they cut to Team 4-Star in the audience. And also Little Karibo. It was Team 4-Star and LK were in the crowd with like the Team 4-Star sign. It's nuts. And they also came out of a cereal box. That is true. Yeah, I don't know how, like, I assume that Xavier Woods knew they were there and told the production truck somehow. So, with the volume louder. Like that. What's Team 4-Star? They do DBZ Abridged. Among other things. They also did the Final Fantasy Abridged that I did a voice for. The chat is on it. All right. It's Frylock. Oh. What? Dark Abyss Keeper, congrats. Hey Graham, my son Dorian is about 47 hours old. Say hello so I can show him the VOD tomorrow and pretend that he cares. Oh, you're in for some fun. Aurelius, they've always been great. Anyway, sorry, I guess, yes. Hello, Dorian. Welcome to the world. It's going to be a fun time. Go easy on your parents. Okay. Shall we do the bit where we talk about gaming news and make jokes about it? Okay. I guess that's why most of us are here. That's broadly speaking why I'm here. All right, let's do it. Checkpoint time. Oh yeah, local recording. Oh yeah, right. There we go. Is recording sufficiently regional? Gotcha. Whenever you're ready. Today, Bandai Namco is probably kind of annoyed that we're showing you this Dark Souls 3 gameplay. This is Checkpoint. Welcome to Checkpoint, where this week we are broadcasting on what is apparently Square Root Day. That's right, April 4th, 2016, or 4416, is when both the month and the day of the month are the square root of the last two digits of the year. We didn't make this up. This is a real thing with a Wikipedia page and everything. The last time it happened was the 3rd of March 2009, and it isn't going to happen until May 5th, 2025. So get out there and do Square things, I guess. We all know that freemium iOS games have to make money somehow, and for many developers, there's a certain amount of pay-to-win incentivizing. And sure, you might be willing to spend $10 or even $20 on a game that you're enjoying, but are you willing to spend $30,000? Because that's what YouTuber Chief Pat has spent on Supercell's Clash of Clans and Clash Royale. He claims that it's a business expense for his YouTube channel, though, because he's making YouTube content, so that's totally fine, and not at all the retail price of a brand new Honda Civic with an attractive options package, or a down payment on a house, or a speedboat. But hey, he is number 19 in the world for Clash Royale. It took him 130 hours of playtime, but Twitch streamer Rudism has completed the amazing feat of getting from level 1 to 100 in World of Warcraft, using a dance mat. Well, 2 dance mats, because it turns out there's a lot of controls that need replacing when you're not using a mouse and keyboard. Also, he set himself a rule that he's only allowed to use 1 macro shortcut, and that macro is /dance. I like this because it seems like a video game challenge I could actually do. When I dance, I already look like I'm trying to control a Tauren Death Knight with my feet. Pro-level fighting game player Daigo Umehara is getting his own figurine. Even if you don't know him by name, you probably know him as the man behind that Street Fighter video someone showed you once of Ken reversing all 13 hits of Chun-Li's super and then comboing for the win. That was in 2004, and he's been putting up wins ever since. Umehara is the first fighting game player to reach the level of icon you need to justify a custom figurine, and he also illustrates why this doesn't happen more often. If I wanted to see an emotionless gamer wearing a t-shirt, I would look in the mirror. VR is here, and it's your desktop. Virtual desktop is just what it says, an immersive, field of vision filling VR version of your computer's desktop, allowing you to surf the web, chat on Slack or Twitter, play games, and watch YouTube videos through your Vive or Oculus Rift, just like you could if you were at home using your computer. Is it a late April Fool's joke? Is Exhibit hiding somewhere in here? We put your computer in your computer so you can desktop while you desktop. Bandai Namco has realized that their pre-release plans for Dark Souls 3 might not be working out how they thought, since Dark Souls 3 inexplicably came out in Japan on March 24th, but doesn't come out here until April 12th. There has been some confusion to the general public. Not only are people streaming the Japanese version, which is to be expected with an uneven release window, but Bandai Namco recently sent codes for the English version to a bunch of streamers and YouTubers, allowing them to release content of the game. A game nobody watching their content can buy for 3 weeks. There were conditions. People were only supposed to show a certain number of the game's bosses, but owing to the nature of the Souls games, that presents an awful lot of leeway, and also some people just ignored it. The Dark Souls fanbase is pretty vocally upset that the game is complete, but delayed in North America for mystery reason. And now that these content creators are getting to figure out all the game's secrets before the public has even had a chance to play it, at time of recording, the game still hasn't come out here for a week, and there are people streaming New Game Plus Plus runs. So now, Bandai Namco has asked those content creators to not make new content between April 1st and the release date, to, quote, create an even playing field for streamers on April 12th. I mean, sure, it's even for everyone who wasn't on the list, but those streamers are already tuning themselves for endgame PvP. You're trying to close the barn door, but the horse has blown past Firelink Shrine and is halfway to Anor Londo by now. For me, I've always used those streams to watch the game and pinpoint all the places I'll die, so I don't need to bother playing it now. Coming up, Powerpuff Girls Flipped is a new iOS Android title that changes between a match-3 puzzle game Sugar Mode and a side-scrolling brawler Spice Mode, depending on the phone's orientation. If you turn the phone completely over, it's an Everything Nice mode where you just get to enjoy your phone case. I guess apparently the pitch shifting happened again.
Also, apparently the music was really quiet for the titles.
Oh, odd. Well, we can redo the titles easy if you turn that up. But I'd also like to redo the Dark Souls story.
If you had just kept it, it would have been fine. Like if you had just gone Banco Namdai,
yeah,
and just kept it as if you were messing with it.
Yeah, but I had a couple mess ups in the actual story.
All right, so let's try the titles again.
Yeah, let's do that.
So I've jacked the volume up a little bit. See if that's what we need.
Cool. Well, the credits sounded fine, right? Like the credits were a good volume. Apart from the pitching thing, the credits were a good volume, yeah? Stand down from Red Elite. Nurmco Burnder. Bamco Nandai. Ugh. Bumpy Nandos. Nimbly Bumblebees. Credits were good. All right. I'll put it in. I'll make that the stinger. When I mess up. All right. So redo the titles.
All right, here we go.
Today, Bandai Namco is probably annoyed that we're showing you this Dark Souls 3 gameplay. This is Checkpoint. Cool. And now, to redo our feature story for the day.
Alrighty. So you want to go from 4 to...
That doesn't matter.
Okay.
Bandai Namco has realized their pre-release plans for Dark Souls 3 might not be working out how they thought. Since Dark Souls 3 inexplicably came out in Japan on March 24th, but doesn't come out here until April 12th, there has been some confusion to the general public. Not only are people streaming the Japanese version, which is to be expected with an uneven release window, but Bandai Namco actually sent codes for the English version to a bunch of streamers and YouTubers, allowing them to release content of the game. A game nobody watching their content can buy for 3 weeks. There were conditions. People were only supposed to show a certain number of the game's bosses, but owing to the nature of the Souls games, that presents an awful lot of leeway. And also some people just ignored it. The Dark Souls fanbase is pretty vocally upset that the game is complete, but delayed in North America for mystery reason. And now, these content creators are getting to figure out all the game's secrets before the public has actually had a chance to play it. At time of recording, the game still doesn't come out here for over a week, and there's people streaming New Game Plus Plus runs. So now, Bandai Namco has asked all those content creators to not make any new content between April 1st and the release date to, quote, create an even playing field for streamers on April 12th. I mean, sure, even for the people who weren't on the list, but those streamers are already tuning themselves for endgame PvP. You're trying to close the barn door, but the horse has blown past Firelink Shrine and is halfway to Anor Londo by now. And that was better. Lots of chirps. What?
Cheep, cheep.
Audio sounds weird. Strange.
Sounds weird.
Sound had a bit of a buzz to it.
No!
Meh. No buzz. Sounded like you got a Twitch message mid-story. What?
Happened on the peaks.
The peaks.
I mean,
The peaks? You mean when I'm loud?
it might be a little loud.
Now we're on the other microphone. Ha! I'm sure you can remove it in post. I didn't peak our clip? Alright, cool. I can't hear a buzz. Yes, we know, we fixed that. Well, Paul fixed that. We bought a new piece of hardware. You fixed it. Why are you bringing it back? We bought a new $40 piece of hardware that's a USB.
It's just another USB sound.
It's a USB in-ear device,
Yep.
so that we don't have to use the one on the computer that was causing problems that made us use the analog in-ear on the computer that was bad and made the buzz. And now it's just nice.
No, actually, what we're now using both of the. We're using the USB from the board and the USB from this other device. And the USB from the computer is going out through the Blackmagic card.
Ah.
Basically, we just have to not all the internal, like the audio stuff on the motherboard is just useless. Like the mic inputs and the headphone outputs from the motherboard have that buzz on them. So I don't know why they even like. It's a known thing that motherboard audio is usually not great, because there's also, it's not well shielded and stuff.
Right.
But it's just like, why bother putting those ports on the motherboard
If they're going to be garbage.
if it's just never going to work properly?
I don't know. Let's talk about the news. Boop, boop. Is it seriously Square Root Day?
It's a real thing. Well, I was like trying to think of something to do for the intro,
Right.
and it was like April 4th, and I was like,
Right.
oh, 4/4, that's kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, it's like, is this the only time Checkpoint is going to be broadcasting on like 4/4, like
5566,
yeah, yeah.
right.
and then looking forward.
66 is my birthday.
It turns out that like we're gonna hit 6/6, 8/8, 10/10.
Huh.
Will be on Mondays and 12/12 actually.
Interesting.
So, those will all be on Mondays. And so I was like, oh, that's not interesting. Wait a minute. 4 and 4 is 16, and that's where we are. And it's like, there's got to be a name for that. And so I started looking up, like, I was like, 04 or like April 4th, 2016 multiply date. Because I was like, if there isn't a name for that, then we can make up a funny name for it.
Right.
And then I saw this thing for Square Root Day, and I was like, oh yeah, that is actually a thing.
4416, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
Because, yeah, so it would have been 339 was the last one, and then 224, so February 2nd, 2004, and then March 3rd, 2009, and then this one, and then, yeah, the next one's
So May 5th.
May 5th, 2025, and then the next one,
Obviously, they get a lot.
2036, no, 66, it's not 36, is it? No, yeah, so yeah, it is
Yeah.
6 times 6, yeah, so June 6th, 2036.
And the last one is September 9th, 2081, is the last one within this century.
Right. What? I see we have a Friday night LRR draft this week. Yeah.
It's true.
We're going to draft Shadows.
Yeah, actually doing it,
Yes.
properly.
As opposed to what?
Well, as opposed to doing like the pre-release thing.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
We're gonna
We're doing a draft instead
we're gonna
of
do
a
like
pre-release.
but like instead of doing like the sealed thing, it'll be
Mhm.
like a proper draft. So theoretically, chances are you'll probably see more different types of decks.
Probably, yeah.
Because having everybody play red in a draft is probably not going to happen.
Mhm.
So that'll be good.
So, yeah, the first story, this one Kathleen wrote, shout out. Yeah, the Clash of Clans story, it's a YouTuber that he's spent, it's broken up. It's not 30 grand on one game.
No, it's 30
It's-
grand on games by that developer.
Well, on two.
Yeah.
On two
Clash
games.
of Clans and Clash
Royale.
Clash Royale.
He's spent $12,000 in Clash Royale and $18,000 on Clash of Clans. And I get...
Clash Royale, by the way, came out 2016.
Yeah.
Like, it hasn't been out that long.
It came out this year, so he spent $18,000.
This guy, but from what I understand, this guy's actually a pretty big YouTube channel. So
He's got 1.7 million subscribers.
there's a good chance that it is like it's a
Well, that's the
business
thing.
expense.
Like, how?
He's
Yeah,
making that money
it absolutely
back.
is. But it's like, how much money is he making from YouTube that he can spend 30 grand on freemium mobile games?
I'm assuming more than
I guess a
30
lot.
grand.
Yeah,
I guess
must be nice.
I think that's the thing that his YouTube channel is for. Like apparently most of his videos are about like
Yeah.
Clash of Clans and
Yeah.
stuff. So if you're looking for like high end end game Clash of Clans content, I guess he's the go-to guy.
Yeah. Let me see.
Apparently, when he did the AMA, like this was all this info came out on the Reddit AMA, and when he did the AMA, he was number one. But the leaderboards change very, very rapidly. So he's number 19 or something now.
Wow.
Anyway.
He also, the article that this is referenced, that this is sourced from, also says that he thinks that he accuses the top end of the leaderboards, like people who are higher even than him, of trading wins
Just to keep them at
to
the
keep their
same level.
position.
Yeah.
That like number one and number two will constantly like win and lose to one another, to keep themselves on the top of the leaderboard, which is like, I guess, I don't know.
It's real important for some people.
Anyway, the fish sticks. Welcome back. We'll be doing, as always, we'll be doing all the subscriber welcomes at the end.
The
Rudism
yeah.
danced his way to level 100 in World of Warcraft.
And I mean, this is part of, obviously, there's a long and storied history. In some cases, a checkpoint storied history of people playing video games with controllers that were not meant to play those video games. You know, people played Dark Souls with Donkey Konga drums.
Yeah.
You know, lots of Guitar Hero controllers, that kind of stuff. But it sounds like this wasn't actually like, you know, playing Dark Souls with conga drums or something silly like that is, you know, difficult to make any progress at all.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like this was more of like it was more of a grind than like, I mean, obviously there's a skill involved, but you probably pick up the skill
As you're
over
doing
the
it.
100 and whatever many hours.
Yeah, like at this point he knows World of Warcraft back and forth. It's the, you know, getting from level 1 to level 10 is like figuring out how these pads work.
Yeah.
And then it, you know, you get better at using the pads as you gain levels. So yeah.
It is a shame that that's not like something that can, like it doesn't like teach him actually how to dance or anything like that. Because of course, as we all know, people playing on a DDR pad, it's not really dancing. It's like,
Yeah, it's like step, tap, tap,
step,
do this. Yeah, exactly.
And I would imagine, I don't know.
So I guess it's from an activity perspective, it's certainly more active than sitting playing World of Warcraft. But it's not like you're like burning tons of calories. You're standing and stepping left to right slightly.
Yeah.
I don't know. I do like that he decided that the only macro he was going to allow himself was going to be /dance.
/dance, yeah.
The figure of Daigo Umehara. I wasn't watching the chat, obviously, but I assumed that there was a lot of people going, I've seen that video.
It's true. It is an amazing video.
Yeah.
I
It
love
looks like a sweet figurine, to be fair.
Yeah. But I love in the comments, there's people would be like, so they're just like making 5 of these for like him and his family? What? Like, why? What is this for? Also, a bunch of people who are actually know the guy, or not know the guy, but are more familiar with his work and are in the fighting game community were like, this is an extremely accurate portrayal of what he looks like during a match. Apparently, he's super stone-faced during a match.
Yeah.
He just...
Well, hey there, Karu of the Stead. Welcome.
He doesn't do any trash talk or anything. He just comes there and rocks face.
Yeah, I just like that it's him standing there, expressionless, holding a fight stick under his arm, with Ryu and Evil Ryu like doing sick poses and stuff
Yeah.
in front of him, because otherwise it would just be a guy standing
yeah.
there holding a fight stick.
Those are his 2 favorite characters,
Yeah.
apparently.
The virtual desktop thing, of course, we gave it some stick.
But for serious,
This one
actually,
Kathleen also wrote.
I'm pretty excited about
It
that.
actually looks kind of cool.
Like, because it's basically like, you know what? I want a giant monitor. It's like,
Yeah.
I want to do my word processing on an iMac screen. Boop. And the thing which I've read about...
Also, it's like having second monitors, right? You can put stuff over, be like, put stuff over there, up there.
Yeah.
You can just like, you have so much desktop space.
And I've read about it in... I remember looking at this like way long time ago when Oculus stuff was first, when they were still in beta, and it the thing that I think actually might be like for me, it might be like a killer app for the VR thing is watching a movie in a virtual movie theater.
Yeah, I do like that.
Like that seems awesome to me.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, you know what? I want a big screen. In a virtual movie theater that's like empty or, with... Heck, I bet somebody could come up with an app that it's like a virtual movie theater with like, you can like watch it with other people synchronized.
Mm-hmm. Brandon Boyer did the best thing with Virtual Desktop. He made the background an image of a 3D photo he took in Japan, so it looked like Japan, but it also looked like he was being held by a giant version of himself.
Wow.
That's pretty great. And then the big story that we talked about was the Dark Souls thing. So okay, there's like a couple different factors at play here. First of all, Dark Souls fans in North America, or Dark Souls fans outside of Japan, are upset that they have to wait 3 weeks to get their hands on Dark Souls when the game is done. And Namco Bandai said that, or Bandai Namco, because they changed order, they said that like the game's not quite finished or something, that like North America would be seeing the finished version, and it's like, wait, so you're releasing an unfinished version in Japan? That's dumb, or something. They
translation is
they made
still
some kind
in
of
progress?
BS excuse. Well, no, that's the thing, because they've sent the code
Right.
for the English version to reviewers and to YouTubers and so the fact that it was delayed 3 weeks from Japan to not Japan, that bothered people as one thing. Then separate other thing was the thing that
where they were showing
they were giving it to YouTube content creators and streamers,
but
and being like, you can make as much content as you like with this, except you have to stop at this point.
But it's like streamers getting or people streaming a game before it comes out is not unusual, right? I mean, like people do that for all sorts of games, and it's not a problem. But the combination of it being out and available for retail release in Japan and not in North America, but some people being able to stream it in North America.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, if everybody it's just, it's got that thing where people are like, don't like not being on an even footing. Like, I'm guessing the like delay to North America is, I think I would suspect that it's extremely uninteresting. Like it's just like they're ramping up production. Like they just don't have enough inventory to do worldwide all at once.
Yeah, I guess.
Or something like that. Like it's probably something really mundane.
Yeah. But
or like finishing the translation.
Yeah, but it's people are pretty annoyed. Actually, Jim did a whole Jimquisition about this last week. That one of the things that people are annoyed about is that one of the cool things about a new Souls game coming out, or Bloodborne, is everyone gets to experience it at the same time and figure out the secrets, and it's a big sort of community thing, and like working it out. But because a select couple dozen people get to start playing it already, it's just sort of like that aspect is taken away, because you can just watch them do it, and then everyone knows all these things going into it, and so it's sort of like, oh, it's this kind of letdown. And then now that they're like, hey, could you stop? And so you had people tweeting like, well, Namco Bandai has just said that we have to stop making stuff between after April 1st, so look for a whole ton of videos tomorrow. Right? It's like I have to release a ton of stuff like now before they tell me that I have to stop making stuff until the release. And so it's like
Now I feel like you're saying, well, if that's the reason, why not just say them instead of giving a lame excuse? You have to understand that how reluctant to talk to people a lot of these companies are.
yeah.
There is a thing where just people, like video game companies seem to be particularly bad about this, especially Japanese video game companies tend to be less up on the like, especially when they're dealing with North American customers, they tend to be less sort of quick on the like dealing with social media and that kind of stuff. There's just kind of a disconnect there. It's like, it reminds me of Atlas when they came under a lot of fire because they released their game for PS. This is for PS3. They released one of their games for PS3, and it was region locked,
Right.
which is an entirely optional thing for games on a PS3, and literally, like nobody does it.
Yeah.
Like they were the only people who have ever region locked their games. There's like half a dozen people.
Yeah.
And so people were really mad. They're like, you guys are region locking your games. What the hell? And Atlas came out with like a public statement that was like, no, you don't understand. We need to region lock the games
Right.
because we want to sell it for different prices in different areas of the world. And everyone was like, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
That's
That's
why
what we don't like. It's like they thought that there was some misunderstanding as to why they used region locking.
No. We want to make it. We want to make it worse for the consumer, and the consumers are like,
Yeah.
"Yeah,
we're
that's
not
why we
stoked
got a
about it."
problem." Yeah, no. You don't understand. We just want to screw you. So yeah. Anyway, Bandai Namco now being like, "No, wait, don't," is so. It was like, well.
Yeah.
Should have thought of that. And then the coming up, the Powerpuff Girls Flipped Out, it's actually super interesting.
Yeah.
It's you play it sideways, and it's this side-scrolling brawler game, and these dudes come in and you fight them or whatever, and then you go whoop, and the girls and all the enemies go pff, and turn into a match 3 puzzle game, and then you can flip it back and continue brawling, and it's like it's super interesting.
I think there are like some enemies that only can be defeated in certain modes and stuff like that. Like you have to like switch.
Yeah.
It seems like an interesting idea. I don't know if who knows whether it actually works, but it's a cool idea anyway.
Yeah. Stories that we didn't do in the main show.
Yeah.
This is super interesting and wasn't something that like I figured
It wasn't like a joke about it.
Yeah, there's no joke. It's just neat.
But yeah, so a guy named Peter Brin, who has cerebral palsy, was having a lot of trouble playing The Division because the way he has to grip the controller, he kept hitting the pad in the middle,
Right.
which in Division and in a lot of games brings up the map
Yeah.
and pauses the game.
Right.
And so he sent an email to Sony about it and was like, "This is a problem." And an actual Sony engineer, a little while later, sent him back. Sent him a specially made controller with the touchpad disabled and the pause functionality actually on a separate, like extra added button, which is pretty awesome.
That's so cool.
Yeah. Rebindable keys would be even better.
Yeah.
Is a general thing, but the idea that
Sony has not commented formally, but Byrne posted the letter that he was sent on his Facebook page. In it, Byrne describes his work, which took 3 different controllers and 10 hours of work to bring it to life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's very cool. I actually I had a friend who did a lot of work who was working at UVic, and they were doing a lot of work with building accessible controllers and stuff for video games are sort of one part of that.
Yeah.
And they're a part of that is very cool. But of course, once you have the accessibility of input devices is important for all sorts of things.
Actually, which reminds me, shout out to Able Gamers, which you may have seen them at PAX or whatever. They're a charitable organization specifically for this, to make gaming accessible to people who, for whatever reason, are unable to use the hardware or software as intended.
Right.
And they do a lot of great work in that field.
Yeah.
You can usually find them around the Diversity Lounge at PAX, and they were giving a talk at South. I believe they're also giving a talk at PAX East if you're going to be there. So, by the way, we will be at PAX East also. So, myself and James and Beej and Ian will be there. We're going to be doing our panel and also the late night dub fight.
Woo!
So check that out. And then just two more things. There's a story on Kotaku about why it's so difficult to shave, why it's so difficult to improve the world record speed run for the original Super Mario Brothers.
So the original Super Mario Brothers, the world record speed run is sub 5 minutes. Like, it's very, very short. Using all sorts of glitches and tricks and crazy stuff. For instance, did you know you could wall jump in the original Super Mario Brothers?
Kind of, somehow.
No, you're not supposed to be able
Yeah.
to. But if you hit the pixel right between the two blocks, you have one frame in which you can jump again, apparently.
Weird.
Anyway,
Welcome Click, the Late Night Dub Fight will be recorded and put out scene by scene on latenightdubfight.com. You can follow at Dubfight on Twitter for updates. That's a thing Ian handles. Pardon me.
so anyway, so this guy is the current world record holder with, I forget what the actual time is.
4 minutes, 57 seconds, 0.427.
Yeah.
Sorry,
so,
57.427 seconds.
So 427 milliseconds. And they've worked out by using like a tool assisted speed run.
Yeah.
Like not even tool assisted, a tool done speed run. Like having a computer do it absolutely precisely. The absolute minimum amount of time is something like 452 seconds and a certain number of milliseconds.
Yeah, or 4 minutes, 52 seconds?
Yeah, 4
Okay.
minutes 52 seconds.
But a human has only gotten as good as 4 minutes, 57
and,
seconds.
and so it's like, so they know that you can do better.
Mm-hmm.
And so this guy, I think he's been doing streams and stuff too, but he just plays this game like because it only takes 5 minutes to play because at the point that he's at.
It's a good game to speedrun because if you mess up, you haven't lost hours of work.
And so he's played that like 5 minutes, maybe 100,000 times, right? Like
Probably.
he's played that. I mean, and it takes him like he doesn't always get every part of it each time, obviously.
I'll paste this link in the chat.
Yeah, humans just got to get good.
Just
Also, apparently, there's actually a thing. They learn about all the precise details of the game. That's actually the speedrunning part that I find quite interesting, is that they learn about the game in such immense, in such precise detail, often more than the actual developers would know about the game. Like, there's a thing with Mario goes slightly faster when he's facing the opposite direction than when he's moving.
Yeah.
And there's all this stuff. But one of the things that they figured out is that it only checks to see whether you've beaten a level every 12 frames, every certain number of frames. And so there's a window where somebody who completes the game or completes a level in 52.3 seconds and somebody who completes the level in 52.2 seconds will actually be at the same time because the game won't even check to see whether you won't do the beating the level part until that little tick has come along and it actually checks that.
Weird.
So it's weird. So anyway, basically it's that whole thing where if you go deep on anything, it's amazing how much depth there can be. You can go deep on almost anything you want to.
Yeah.
Just focusing. I mean, and this is what this guy's decided to do.
Mm-hmm. And so the last story that we actually, okay, so there was one thing. There was a story that I thought was going to be ludicrous, but as it turns out, it's not the case. So it was reported that the director of Final Fantasy 15 had said that they needed to sell 10 million copies for the game to be viable, which is insane because the only Final Fantasy game that's ever sold that well is Final Fantasy 7. And, The Witcher 3 has sold 5, it's ludicrous. it was corrected. The Square was like, that's not what he said. I think there was a communication. He definitely said 10 million copies. He said that as like the team, while making the game, wanted to like shoot for that as like aim for the stars. Like we want to
Because that's around what Final Fantasy VII sold.
Yeah, exactly. Well, has sold now.
Yeah, that's what
right.
And
so they said that they want to make a game as good as they want to make good enough. They want to make a game good enough to sell 10 million copies. Not that it needs to sell 10 million copies to be viable. So that's fine. So it's basically not a story. But I just thought it was almost hilarious, and then it ended up being actually pretty reasonable.
So to be fair, it is partially Square's own fault, because in the past they have done some pretty ludicrous stuff where they're like, yeah, our business, like our profits were down this year,
Yeah.
because Lara Croft, Tomb Raider, and Max Max Payne,
Max Payne 3 or
Max
whatever.
Payne 3 and Sleeping Dogs didn't do as well as we were hoping.
Right.
And it's like, those were some of the best games of that year
Yeah.
that sold really well,
Yeah.
but they didn't sell
Enough.
Call of Duty well.
Yeah, because people like it has been a thing that people, game companies and Square has been bad for this in the past, where they've put like it needs to sell this much to be profitable, and that much is an insane number that just isn't like.
It's like if your game,
attainable.
it's like if your game is the 10th best-selling game of the year,
Yeah.
and you didn't make, you didn't break even on it, then your development process has a problem.
Yeah. The trailer, by the way, did you see the new trailer for Final Fantasy 15?
Yes.
Yeah, with the Florence and the Machine cover of Stand By Me. Yeah. I don't know if I will enjoy the game from a gameplay perspective. I will have to actually play it and find out. I haven't had a chance to play the demo yet.
It's not just a game. It's
But-
like a whole
But
multimedia
but
empire now.
thematically, attractive dudes go on a road trip and have feelings. It looks like kind of a fun thing to watch, at least.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'll enjoy necessarily playing it, but we'll find out.
You're in luck. They also are making a movie.
Yeah, and an anime.
Apparently so.
Yeah. All right, so there's a story that we love but couldn't really report on, which is, of course, Eve. Eve Online. There's been a war.
There is a war. It is
ongoing, yeah.
Ongoing. You can look into this yourself to get like the real in-depth stuff on it. But the war stories that come out of Eve, are just as big as are just as convoluted and are intricate as like stories that come out of actual wars.
Yeah.
Like the different people involved and all this stuff. But
Andrew. Yeah. I got to find that.
what's particularly interesting about this war is that it's basically is that a large portion of it of the like there's the what are called the Empire or the Imperial or something.
Yeah.
Who used to be the Clusterfuck Coalition, who are a bunch of who used to be the Goon Swarm.
Yeah.
That's a simplification, but so they renamed themselves like the Empire or the Imperium,
Yeah.
just to be weird and to be
Is-
more like
is
we are in charge of everybody.
Is there still a group called? I found. Oh, awesome! Andrew's got it. Yeah.
Empires of
I
Eve.
just found the link myself. EmpiresofEve.com. It's a book. I'll read it. A narrative history book from Andrew Groen that explores the politics, warfare, betrayal, and culture that has shaped the virtual universe of Eve Online. It's basically like, it's a history of. Well, it says right there,
Yeah.
a history of the great wars of Eve Online. That sounds super cool.
But
Is there still a group called Test Group? Please ignore.
I'm not sure. I don't think so.
I thought there was.
But anyway, so the cool thing about this particular war this particular thing. So it's basically
Right, yes, test alliance, please
Yeah, yeah.
ignore.
the basic thing about this is that these guys, the Imperium, are by far the largest conglomerate.
Yeah.
Because it's not one group; it's like a whole bunch of groups that are sort of affiliated. But they're by large, and they've started actually basically doing protection on people.
Yeah.
like forcing people to pay them tithes and stuff. And so everybody else,
Weirdly, that upset some people.
yeah, everybody else in the Eve world kind of started getting annoyed with them. Mm-hmm. And then, but the great thing about this is this battle. So a bunch of people have banded together and are now fighting. And I believe this is still going on right now. But the awesome part about this is that the counter attack, the fight against the Imperium, is largely funded by what is basically an Eve bank, which is called the Iron Bank, except iron is spelled with a 1. So
the one Ron Bank.
the one run bank.
They would probably hate being
But they're
called that.
they're like they're like an ISK gambling site, and for various reasons they're mad at the Imperium, and so they basically have hired out like a ton of groups as like mercenaries to go in and attack, and so they're like bankrolling this big attack.
This is amazing.
But everything is all with ISK. Like nothing. It's not. There's no real money involved.
Except that all the
Except-
real money that people have bought their ISK with.
Except all the real money that you can trade into it. So
Ashton, if history has taught me anything, it's that subjugating and overtaxing the commoners has never gone badly.
well, that's the thing is that like the I feel it's like the Imperium or whatever they're the guys, like they're basically, I mean, they're from Something Awful and stuff, and the original, like in a lot of ways they are like they're just taking like trolling to its logical extreme.
Yeah.
Right? Where it's like, what would it be like if, whatever.
When you decide to rebrand your group of people and you settle on the Imperium,
They also
maybe you're the bad guys.
well, that's the thing. They're like deliberately setting themselves up as that.
Yeah.
And they actually like at a big convention they pledged fealty to a fairly well-known cosplayer who cosplays as
The Space Pope.
a guy named Maximilian Singularity the Sixth. Anyway,
Maximilian Singularity.
yeah. So it's basically
What a great name.
So it's basically it's like trolling, but taken way, way farther than to the point where it has become real in the context of the Eve universe anyway.
Wow.
It's like, if the dictator of some country was like, lol, this is hilarious.
I'm glad so many of you picked up on the Mitchell and Webb reference.
So anyway, if you, like I said, the last I read about it was like yesterday or the day before. So I'm sure lots of stuff has changed in the meantime.
Yeah.
So check it out if you want to learn more about Eve stuff. Apparently, the skirmish that happened a couple days ago, while it probably there wasn't a huge amount of like monetary damage because the things that cost a lot of money are the capital ships
Yeah.
and the big dreadnoughts and stuff. And there weren't that many involved in this particular fight. It was the largest death count of any battle in Eve history.
I'm gonna link to a screenshot.
Which again, they all respawn, so it's not that.
Yeah.
It's like a happy war.
Because we reported before on the biggest.
If you had a war and everybody respawned, it's okay.
We reported before on the biggest financial losses in a battle, and it was like $12,000.
Something around there, yeah.
Yeah.
And that one was amazing.
That
too.
was big,
I won't
yeah.
go into that, but that the story behind that whole thing was pretty amazing.
Yep.
So
Oh, the Eve subreddit has a sticky thread with continuous updates. Of course it would.
long until LR starts a 24/7 Eve reporting stream.
I'm here on the front lines.
I would be surprised if there is one.
Yeah.
Like that somebody else who
I imagine.
actually plays Eve would probably.
Well, I imagine the guy who literally wrote the book is probably getting in on it. So,
Anyway,
let's welcome subs, shall
we
we?
have an important thing. Wait. Wait. Ha
And then,
ha!
all right. Reneko resub today with a 12-month resub. 1 year from Reneko. Welcome back. A new subscriber from Hugh Munculus.
Nice.
Welcome to the channel, Hugh Munculus. Very much appreciated. El Callan, another new sub. Welcome to the channel, El Callan. Thank you very much for subscribing. Admiral Username Memo. Namemo? Namemo.
Admiral user.
Admiral Username Memo. The mashup no one expected or asked for has just subscribed to the channel. Thank you so much.
Although I suspect not a new subscriber.
Whichever one of you that was,
That's
I
like
suspect it wasn't Admiral Memo.
That could be one of like 3 or 4 different people.
Yeah, it's true. Ninja Mummy Ramses with a 5-month resub. Welcome, Ninja Mummy Ramses. Thank you so much for your continued support.
The archaeologist did not expect that.
No.
The Ninja Mummy Ramses caught them off guard.
This guy was a ninja.
Yeah. That's the curse is real.
Yeah. Ignis Deus with a 23-month resub. Welcome back, Ignis Deus. Thank you so much. Castle Otranto with a 32-month resub. Thank you, Castle Otranto, for your continued support. Blue Mechanic with a 22-month resub. Welcome back, Blue Mechanic. Thank you very much. Insert witty phrase here with a 9-month resub. Welcome back. And another 9-month resub as well from Viking Slayheron. Thank you as well. And another 9-month resub from Oh No, I Missed the Sub Cutoff, which is false today.
Ah.
Thank you very much for your continued support. A 1-year resub from Manbeardo. Thank you for 12 months. The Fish Sticks with a 13-month resub. Thank you so much, The Fish Sticks, for your continued support. A new subscription from Baron von Shotgun. I'm just imagining him like Mad King Ludwig in like his crazy castle, but he just has a shotgun. It's like, we should do something about
like Baron.
we need to do something about Baron von Shotgun. We can't.
He's got a
He's got a
shotgun.
shotgun. Have you seen him?
He's like, why is everybody talking about that? I don't even particularly like shotguns. It's a family name, okay? More of a Uzi kind of guy.
Welcome, Baron von Shotgun. Tantusar with a 2-month resub. Welcome back, Tantusar. Thank you so much. Tantusar set up the bracketing guesses for the pre-release.
Oh.
Which was cool. How many people, if Tantusar is still in the chat, how many people actually were correct? Because I know
5.
I know there was some upsets. Really nice.
I believe because there was a situation where there was like 4 or 5 people, and if Athena had won that last thing, then nobody would have got it.
Oh, wow.
Everyone bet against her on that one.
In the finals, though.
Against Kenji.
Yeah. 5? Wow. Growleman with a 23-month resub. Welcome back, Growleman. Thank you so much for 23 months of support. Wither with a 12-month resub. 1 year from Wither. Thank you so much. Welcome back. And Space Carl with a 4-month resub. Welcome back, Space Carl. And thank you for your support.
And it says, "Fear not, I have sent a letter to aid Duchess von Panzer Division."
She's very good at shouting. Oomph. Mine was almost correct. I had Marshall and Kenji. Yeah, a lot of people wanted a Marshall and Kenji showdown in the finals, but it was not to be.
Yeah, it was more. People who did that in their bracket may have been more wishful thinking than actual solid policy.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I wish I'd been able to go off with Westvale Abbey. I just really, really, really wanted to do
I know. Westvale Abbey showed up a few times.
It's bonkers. Stories
I
from
know.
the pre-release on the weekend is that it is insane. Understandably. Like, I have a 9/7 flying indestructible lifelink haste just out of nowhere.
My favorite thing about it is that, like, because it turns from a land into a guy, so you can't use it. Like, you can't use it as a land anymore. Right?
Yeah.
So I just like that idea. It's like because you can see in the picture that it's
He's bursting
he's
out of
burst,
the... Yeah.
burst out of the his friend in front of the abbey. Like, the abbey is still there. He's just
Yeah.
like in front of it, and so you can just imagine all the people like standing around and be like, "Do you want to tap it for mana?"
No, I don't want
No, I don't want to get close to
I don't
it.
need to. Yeah. Conspicuous Compiler. A new subscription from Conspicuous Compiler. Welcome. Thank you so much. Much appreciated. Thanks to TCC, I've now been putting together
Yeah.
a Pestilence Pauper
The
deck.
Devil's Playground flip to Abby that's living the dream.
That's gross. That's so gross. Anyway, that will do it for Tap Tap Concede today. Thank you all so much for joining us. Paul will be back in 45-ish minutes.
50-45.
54-5. And what do we have on the docket today for things on my stream?
We've got Indiana Jones and the Fate of Atlantis.
Yes, more of that.
What happened to Atlantis?
It sank.
Spoilers, yo.
What? Why is everyone talking about TTC? Oh, did I say thanks for joining us on Tap Tap Concede? Oh, sorry. It's because I was reading Rebellious Uno talking about Tap Tap Concede, and I got confused. Thanks for joining us on Checkpoint also. I mean,
Yeah.
thanks for joining us on Tap Tap Concede.
Yeah,
thanks
just
for,
not
thanks
not
for
recently.
watching the Lurcast. Thanks for watching Quirpline. Thanks for listening to Sidewalk Slam. But more relevantly for now, thanks for joining us on Checkpoint. Anyway, don't go away. Well, go away, but come back in 45 minutes.
Briefly, you can go.
You can go away for 45 minutes, but then come back and watch Paul play Indiana Jones and the Fate of Atlantis.
Woo!
Thanks, everybody. See you next time.
Bye.